But Obama and Bernanke aren't worried. They're just going to keep printing the money, $40 billion a month, mortgage-backed securities, and borrowing the West from China to fund their social welfare state. We are sliding towards socialism, or as Friedrich Hayek put it, we are literally this time on the road to serfdom. Joining me is the Belk Chair of Management at University of North Carolina, Pembroke School of Business. You lecture in China, and your blog site is battle4liberty.com. I know your resume is just so long. And also the co-founder of Saxo Bank, Lars Christensen, is joining us. I'll go to Lars first because he's on remote. It would be one thing if we were just observing this failure in Europe from the firewall and the safety of the American economy, but we're not anymore because our IT guy is trying to put our hard drives together. Mr. Christensen.
Yes.
Yeah, I was just saying that it seems like Barack Obama is trying to emulate the policies in Europe that got them in trouble.
Absolutely. I'm on a speaking tour in the U.S. At the moment where I'm trying to explain what is the reality of European socialism, because clearly I think a lot of Americans don't truly understand what it is like to live in a so-called social welfare state in Europe. The victimization, the bloated entitlement programs, the enormous amount of voters that are actually on government support and hence have very strong interest in making the state stronger, and at the same time how difficult it is to run a business in a private sector that is being basically smaller and smaller as we move along, because the government is taking over more and more of the economy. In my own country we have a 49% tax pressure of GDP, meaning in essence that the government taxes half of the economy for its own purposes. And clearly, once you're at that point where the majority of the voting population is actually either on social transfer payment or working for the public sector, and the minorities in the private sector, you're also at a point where it's very difficult to turn it around. I don't think you are at that point yet in the U.S., but I think it's a choice you got to think very carefully about, because you can always stop capitalism and freedom, but it's very difficult to turn around a society when the voting base is actually overwhelmingly dependent on the state. That democratic dynamic is very important to be aware of, and once you go far enough down that route, there's really very, very difficult to find a way back.
Dr. Parnell, should we be almost amazed that we're not closer to the edge? I mean, after Franklin Delano Roosevelt and Lyndon Baines Johnson, the Great Society, now Barack Obama, I mean, we should almost be thankful there's still a little bit of firewall of liberty and freedom in our economy.
Andrew, I think we're actually closer to the edge than we realize. If you start and look at our country and you say, okay, we have $16 trillion in debt. You've got a lot of unfunded mandates. You have Social Security that needs to be addressed. You've got Medicare. None of this is being touched. You add to that the notion of institutionalized wealth redistribution, which we're seeing in, again, the welfare figure that came out today, $1 trillion annually in government welfare. Add to that crony capitalism, which is effectively corporate revenue wealth redistribution. So we have it from that side as well. You've got the context of Occupy, which is this protest mentality that's stepping up as well. You've got right now the makings of Greece. And I think it's closer than a lot of people realize.
Mr. Christensen,